getting so relaxed, and you can do many things. And so it is with African clubs and African nations that have settled their domestic manner of playing the game, and now they want to even invite outsiders to come and play the final. Indeed, when the last day of the bids for hosting the CAF Champions League final and CAF Confederations Cup ended, only 5 stadiums were on the list. You have the Cairo International Stadium, the one that hosted the final of the last Nations Cup, in which Nigeria came third. You have the Stade Olympique de Rades, that is in Tunisia. You have the Khartoum Stadium, one of Africa's foremost stadium. When you look at Khartoum, you know exactly where African football started in 1957. And then you add that, you have the complex Mohammed Senk, that's Mohammed V. That is in Morocco, in Casablanca precisely. And again, the final one, the Amahoro Stadium. Where is that? In Kigali, Rwanda. And so we have 5 venues listed to welcome Africa and the best of African football, especially at a time where everyone is talking Champions League globally. Which of these stadiums will be picked to host the Champions League final? As for the Amahoro Stadium, they say stadium repairs has forced Rwanda to pull out of the hosting. You look at the repairs being done to the Amahoro Stadium, and it has knocked Rwanda from staging the May CAF Champions League final. Indeed, the Rwanda Football Federation is expected to release a statement after notifying CAF of its decision. Ahmad, the CAF president, had visited the president of the country, and they had agreed that they may just go ahead and host the final. But after inspection, I think they found out that they are not ready. That's Paul Kagame, the Rwandan president. This year's CAF Champions League final will be the first to be staged as a single game, supposedly at a neutral venue, after the debacle of last year's final in Tunis. And the Moroccan side, Wydad Casablanca, abandoned the game in Rades Stadium. You remember all of those drama. Of course, the cases are at the Court of Arbitration of Sports in Switzerland, and there have been so many other cases. This morning, we'll be looking at Nigeria's domestic league, and one club has been banned by FIFA not to even get into the transfer market. And it's a club owned by a senator whose case also is under review. And why not? You want to think that the way we play the game should also determine how players come in. I am Mitchell Obi, your mix master, and if you are set and you know where you are, just remember, it's Kennis 104.1 FM bringing you Sports Salsa. I don't know whether Maria Sharapova, you know her, the Russian tennis player who won 5 Grand Slam. She's saying goodbye to the sport she loves, and she says the sport has become a distraction to her body. Maria Sharapova announced her retirement from tennis, and writing that she's saying goodbye to the sport that made her one of the world's most recognizable sportswomen. In an article for Vogue and Vanity Fair magazines, the 32-year-old said her body had become a distraction after a struggle with shoulder injuries. Of course, Maria Sharapova came under scrutiny when she found to have tested positive to taking some banned drugs, and she suffered a penalty, but came back. But her comeback has not been as sweet as many will expect. After 28 years and 5 Grand Slam titles, though I'm ready to scale another mountain to compete on a different type of terrain, the Russian-born player wrote, I have to really call it a day. In 2016, she served a 16-month ban for failing a drug test at the 2016 Australian Open. After returning from a ban in 2017, Sharapova struggled to recapture her best form and suffered from a number of injuries. She has dropped to 373 in the world rankings, her lowest ranking since August 2002, and has lost in first round of her past 3 Grand Slam tournaments. Sharapova immigrated to the US as a 7-year-old with her father Yuri in 1994, with only a borrowed $700 to their names as they sought to make the most of her talent. She became world number 1 in 2005 and won the US Open the next year. But in 2007, Sharapova began her long on and off battle with shoulder injury. She will win the 2008 Australian Open before a second shoulder injury kept her off tour for the second half of the season, missing the US Open and Beijing Olympics. In 2012, Sharapova captured the French Open to become the 10th woman to complete a career Grand Slam. She added Olympic silver to her resume that year. Her 2014 French Open title was another high after a dispiriting injury low. More fitness troubles followed before the bombshell announcement of her positive test for the banned heart drug meldonium. Of course, Sharapova returned to the sport in 2017. Now she's saying goodbye. We want to say she has given her best, fought a good fight, and she has kept faith. But somehow, somewhere, you know how it is. There is a time under the sun, a time to go, and a time to stay. This is Sports Salsa. If you are with us, you know truly you are listening into the best of sports and the best of music coming from the kennel of sportainment, Kennis 104.1 FM. And as they say, let's get to the cocoa. And the cocoa, of course, is the Nigerian Professional Football League. It's the bread and butter of the game in Nigeria. And if we don't get it right, then you cannot be boastful of any attainments so far. And Ifeanyi Ubah, I told you at the outset, have been handed a global transfer ban by the Fédération Internationale des Associations de Footballeurs Professionnels, FIPRO, over the club's long-standing failure to pay its players' wages. FIPRO, the international association that oversees and advocates for professional footballers' welfare, revealed the ban on the Nigerian club and 4 other African clubs on their Twitter handle Tuesday. The ban follows a June 2019 warning to footballers to avoid signing for FC Ifeanyi Ubah, Tunisian club Africain, Moroccan club Shabab Reef Al Hoceima, Zambia's Lusaka's Dynamo FC, and Botswana's Black Forest FC, who were accused of repeated non-payment of salaries. You will think it happens only in Nigeria, but everywhere. With the clubs having failed to regularize payments to their playing staff, FIPRO issued an updated advisory announcing a global transfer ban on the 5 African clubs, including Ifeanyi Ubah, not so good. Owned by billionaire oil and gas mogul and serving Senator Dr. Patrick Ifeanyi Ubah, the MPFL club, which is named after its patron, has been bugged by allegations of owing players' salaries over the years. Players of the Nnewi-based side cried out in December 2016 after they were owed salary arrears, and 2 years later, Olamilekon Adeleye unilaterally terminated his contract with the club over claims of unpaid wages. Ifeanyi Ubah currently occupies 12th position on the Nigerian Professional Football League table, and they are yet to react to the ban. They host MFM in a match day 22 fixture on Sunday. That will be one to watch out for. And talking about the league, the management company has fined Abia Warriors $5 million over the crowd violence that led to the abandonment of their match day 20 fixture against local rivals Eyimba in Umuahia. That game was replayed in Okigwe, and Eyimba smiled home with over 4 goals. And half of the fine of $5 million will go to Eyimba as compensation for injuries and damages to property, according to the LMC. Warriors must pay the fine within 10 working days and also pay a minimum of their next 3 consecutive home matches behind closed doors with no fans, the LMC announced. Of course, 3 games without any fans, that's really a punishment for Abia Warriors, smelling like they may have problems with relegation this season. According to the LMC, any review of disciplinary measures hinges on it being satisfied that conditions which led to this disruption has been completely eliminated. Abia Warriors have been given 48 hours to either communicate their acceptance of the sanctions in writing or their intention to appeal the decision before a panel. The sanctions relate to the violent scenes at the Umuahia Stadium on 16 February, which led to injuries to Eyimba Chief and Nigeria's leading and long-serving award-winning chairman Felix Anyasiagu and a host of spectators after Warriors fans reacted violently to their team missing a penalty against the champions. The violence caused the game to be abandoned in the 24th minute as spectators and players sought refuge from the rampaging fans. The LMC ordered a replay at the Okigwe Township Stadium the next day and Eyimba won 4-1, following which Warriors coach Emmanuel Dush resigned over claims of unpaid salaries and bonuses. Of course, it's not all about problems hitting Nigerian League, but we need to cope with, as they say, issues that arise. Nasarawa United Football Club has pulled out of the Nigerian Professional Football League season relegation zone after really hitting Rangers 2-1 in one of their outstanding games played yesterday. That's a really good result for Nasarawa. They've been showing good strength. They beat Eyimba at last weekend. Now they've beaten Rangers, two teams, top teams from the oriental side of the country. And the rescheduled match day 14 fixture was played at the Lafayette Township Stadium. The victory did not come easy as the home team and supporters were shocked by an early Rangers goal through Israel Abia, who slotted in an excellent free kick at the edge of the Nasarawa United 18-yard box in the 3rd minute. Nasarawa quickly rallied together, piling pressure on the away team, and in the 6th minute were awarded a penalty for a foul on Chinedu. Abubakar Lawal stepped up to convert the penalty to make it 1-1 and change the mood at the Lafayette Township Stadium. In the second half, Nasarawa United attack mounted series of pressure and continued to slice the Rangers' defense apart with creative passes and unique teamwork, which got them the breakthrough in the 52nd minute through Abdullahi Abubakar. That's the match winner. The striker slotted in the rebound after Rangers keeper had parried the ball towards him. After the game, chairman of Nasarawa United, Isaac Danladi, was joyful over the win that took the team out of the relegation zone. The victory has placed Nasarawa United in the 13th position on the MPFL table. They will travel to Bauchi at the weekend to face Wiki Tourists. And so you talk about the Nigerian League, it's going on for some, and problems come, problems must be solved. And what do? We need to support it, just like we are enjoying this support. It's Vibration by Fireboy, and I know that the ladies love this. When it comes to Fireboy, you see them screaming. All the boys. There's Fireboy, there's Joe Boy, and the big one of all of them, Grammy nominee, Burna Boy. All the boys are coming. Sports Salsa and the Flamingos, that's Nigeria's under-17 team, will have to shelve their trip to Conakry. They were billed to play this Saturday against their Guinean counterpart for a place in the under-17 Women's World Cup first round. That game was to produce one of the teams that will at least move on for a ticket to the under-17 Women's World Cup that will come up later in the year in India. Of course, the game had to be rescheduled from Saturday to March 7 as a result of local polls in the country. There's election in Guinea. Some of us who have been following the election campaign, it's really intense, and you can't play a game under such a setting. They were to meet on Saturday at the 28 September Stadium in Conakry, but the request of the Fédération Guinéenne de Football, the legislative elections on the same day, Saturday, will have provoked a postponement. So Nigeria will now move on to take on Guinea in the first leg, March 7, and the return leg in Lagos a fortnight later. We told you that the countdown to the Nigerian Sports Festival, the National Sports Festival in Benin, will start tomorrow on Kennis FM. We'll be bringing you updates from our underground correspondent, updates from what we have seen, and really prepare the nation for the biggest sports festival, they will say, since we had a good dispensation of ministers who come and forget the festival. This is different. Edo has prepared, but then we will give you updates on what is left to be done, as 11,000 athletes and their officials have declared their readiness to participate in the event. Edo government says it's committed to host athletes across the country and assure participants of adequate security before, during, and after the festival. And according to the governor, the state is planning to host the best sports festival ever in the history of the games. That's Godwin Obaseki. On Friday, he flagged off the countdown to the 2020 festival holding in Benin, saying the festival will help to unite the entire nation. Yes, the governor of Edo State, Obaseki, telling us that by first week of March, contractors should have left the stadium and it will be time to test run. And I can tell you that I visited that stadium at the weekend, and I don't think the work remaining, you will need more than a week to get it going. Some events need complete new stands. The media center also needs to be put up, because for us it's critical. You can't have a national sports festival without the media feeling comfortable and feeling having the best of professional environment to give Nigerians an insight into the festival. And beyond all of that, you also have to test the grass. The grass is not looking too green, even though it's time to water it, get the sun to really produce what the basics in chemistry, is it biology, we did photosynthesis, so you have a green grass all through. But then we are happy that Edo has gone through the major hurdle. They are in the finishing moments, and we hope that a week to the festival we can be confident to tell you here, because our countdown starts Friday tomorrow. We'll be confident that the festival is good to go, and when we say good to go, teams coming in can be at home. Sports Salsa, we're on the home stretch and the final one, and we'll be hitting Ghana. We have Smile Baba there waiting for us, and you can be sure that one or two beats on sports will be thrown in by the team in Accra, the capital of Ghana. And Power Rangers will be really taking us home in good style. We leave you with all of that. I am Mitchell Obi. Friday edition will be a blast. The best of weekend music and the best of weekend sports. Don't forget that we also are looking ahead to the police games in Oka. The police will be coming together after a break of 2 years. They will be gathering in Oka. It's a massive games, and as the force, the voice of the force in police, Frank Umba told us last week, this game will be used as an avenue to tell Nigerians of the benefit of community policing, and also of the benefit of being part of the police force if you have talents to spare. We'll talk about all of it. Just stay with us where it matters. Have a great day as we hit you on the way to Accra.